Welcome to the eCommerce Badassery podcast, the place for scrappy female entrepreneurs who want to learn actionable steps and strategies to grow the traffic, sales, and profit in your e-commerce business. I'm your host, Jessica Totillo-Coster, a 20-year retail veteran who spent 3 years as the only employee of a 7-figure online store. That shit was crazy. I know exactly how it feels to do all the things, and I'm sharing everything I learned the hard way so you don't have to. I may have started this business by accident, but supporting badass bosses like you lights me the fuck up, and I am so stoked to see you grow. Are you ready, babe? Let's roll. Welcome back to the eCommerce Badassery podcast. I'm your host, Jessica Totillo-Coster. If you're listening to this in real time, then we're just a few days away from the start of Q4, which means it's time to start getting your audience excited for what's to come. You'll also want to put some effort into growing your list between now and then so you can have fresh subscribers to send your offers to, because generally subscribers are most engaged with you in the first few months after they join your list. So October is a great time to focus on this. Let's start out with some list growth strategies, and then we'll hop into a few specific content ideas you can use in your own business. The first thing I would do is create some sort of freebie download related to your product that you can give away in exchange for someone's email address. And yes, you can use PDF freebies in your e-commerce business too. Creating an educational PDF makes it so much easier to promote your email list on social channels versus just telling them to sign up for the details of your sale, though I definitely recommend you do that too. And we'll talk more about the timing of that in just a moment. When you're thinking about what you're going to include in this freebie, remember that while you are still going to feature and try and sell your products, it's less about that and more about helping them solve a problem and getting them closer to the outcome they're looking for with your product. And my favorite way to do this is creating a freebie focused specifically around one problem, offering 5 or so ways to solve that problem, with at least one of them being your product specifically. You don't want every way in this list to be your product. Some of it you just want to be general advice, so it's more educational and helpful versus being super salesy. But you do want to feature your product. Let's go through some examples, and we'll start with my go-to CBD. Let's say your main marketing message is around getting better sleep. In that case, the pain point or problem you're solving will be about getting better sleep, but you'll also want to focus on why that's important to your customer. Is it because she's an entrepreneur and needs to have more focus in her business? Is it because she's a mom who wants more energy to play with her kids? Or maybe it's someone who just needs help winding down at the end of a stressful day. If you don't know who your ideal customer is, get your hands on the free resource library because there is a workbook in there to help you map all that out. I'll put a link to it in the show notes. So the title of your freebie would be something like 5 ways to get better sleep so that, and then the reason why they want better sleep. 5 ways to get better sleep so you can have more energy to play with your kids, as an example. Then you would provide some general get better sleep advice like put away the electronics 1 hour before bed, create a nighttime routine so your body knows it's time to go to sleep, get room darkening curtains, set the temperature to 68 degrees, and take 1 milliliter of our CBD. Now, because this is something that you are giving to them in exchange for their email, you'll need to flesh out each of these tips with some more detail. I would throw in some of your own stories or customer stories that the reader will be able to relate to. Make sure you back up your recommendations with research resources and statistics, and add in some lifestyle images that inspire emotion. Anything supplement or health related or anything that solves an obvious problem is pretty easy to figure out. But what if you sell a product that's more of a want versus a need, like clothing or accessories? My go-to there is definitely some sort of styling advice. I know sometimes it feels like you have a bunch of fashionistas in your audience and they already know all the things, but after spending so many years in that industry and as a personal stylist, I can tell you that is not the case at all. So you can create content around styling. I promise not everyone knows all the things. And even better is you can make it specific to the season. So focus on styling for fall or even the holidays. Teaching people how to mix and match the items in their closet is always a win, and then you can introduce them to some of your collection pieces that are must-haves for this season. The trick to making this more valuable is that you need to get specific and show them exactly how to put those outfits together. So you'll want to create visual representations of them and include items like shoes and accessories, even if you don't specifically sell them. Another great option here is to create a personal style quiz on your website. And then that takes them to a collection of items that match their specific style. I do recommend that you still include some sort of PDF download with some styling tips so it doesn't feel 100% salesy, but helping them find the exact right products is super valuable. The quiz option will work for a lot of different products too. Once you have that all set up, you'll want to promote the shit out of it. Dedicate at least one post each week, and don't forget to talk about it in stories as well. Remember that not everyone is seeing all of your posts, so you have to repeat yourself constantly. And you can also weave it in as a secondary message to your other posts as well. All right, so you've got your freebie, and for the month of October, you're going to focus on using that to grow your list. Once you get into November is where you can lean more heavily into letting your audience know what Black Friday perks they get by being on your list, whether it's early access to deals, first dibs on new products, higher discounts, or all of the above. Shout that shit from the rooftops. Seriously, mention it in almost every post and create some posts that specifically focus on the benefits of joining your email list. Q4 is also a great time for collaboration with complementary brands and the opportunity to get in front of other people's audiences. You can do live education sessions on social with another business owner, a brand you sell, or even an expert that speaks to the problem you solve. Focus on fewer, deeper relationships where you can do a few joint events and show up multiple times together. Doing a one-off here and there is not going to have as big of an impact. All right, so now you're growing your list, and of course you have your existing list. So how do you keep them engaged and get them excited for what's to come in holiday? 3 words: behind the scenes. People love behind the scenes content. They love to get a peek behind the curtain and see what goes on behind closed doors. I mean, there's a reason why reality TV is so popular. And what's really cool about this is there are so many ways to repurpose that content and engage your audience throughout the month. So let's run through a few ways that I used to do this in my previous job that always killed it with our audience. First up, behind the scenes of your holiday photo shoot. If you can have an assistant or a social media person there, someone who focuses 100% on getting behind the scenes content all day long, you'll end up with a library of stuff that you can use throughout the whole month. The trick is you want a mix of photos, videos, boomerangs, and whatever else is cool right now to keep things interesting. And if you're using models who are active on social media, encourage them to create and share content as well. I know sometimes we want to keep things secret for launch, but I always found we ended up with the best content and most engagement when we gave the models room to have fun and share with their audience. Print out everyone's social handles nice and big on a piece of paper and post them all around your shoot location so no matter where anyone is shooting content from, they have quick access to tag everyone, including you. Another fun thing you can do if your models are active on social is to do a quick live broadcast from the shoot. In my experience, they don't want to do that unless their makeup is complete, so make sure you plan it out with them a little bit. You can even do a 73 question style interview with them like Vogue does. Just ask less questions and make sure that a good portion of them are focused around your industry, your product, and the things that your audience cares about. Once you have all that content, you can repurpose it in so many different ways. Create individual posts, a photo album on Facebook, cut the clips into a video and share on YouTube and IGTV, create reels from them, you get the idea. Next up, start showing behind the scenes and sneak peeks of your holiday collection. Anything from your seasonal mood board to you shopping for your holiday products. Share photos of your holiday collection without revealing the entire item. You can zoom in on some specific details, ask them to guess what it might be. You can even just share like the whole item, maybe things you're considering, and have them vote on colors or variations. You're really only limited by your imagination here. Just think about how can you bring them into your process and what would entice them to keep their eye out for what you're releasing later on. If you're a one-product store and don't really have seasonal specific content, then you can focus more on how you are using your product or how your product can help them in holiday specific time. So let's go back to the CBD example. Maybe you just switch up your messaging to talk about what you're up against right now and how your CBD regimen is helping you. Are you prepping for the holidays right now? Will you be traveling a lot? What are you going through right now that your audience probably is too? Or you can start future casting what it will be like once you do get closer to the holidays. If you're really stuck for ideas on how to relate it to holiday, then don't. Stick to things like packing your orders and using your product in your everyday life. Even if you shared it before, you can still share it again. My other favorite way to warm up and engage your audience for the holiday season is to reintroduce yourself and talk about why you're so passionate about what you do. I know you've already told the story a million times, but guess what? People don't remember. And the holidays are a great time to give your audience those warm and fuzzies. People vote with their dollars and you want them to vote for you. It's a great time to introduce your team as well. The goal here is to connect to your audience on a human level and remind them of who they're supporting when they spend their money with you. People buy from people and love to support small businesses, so get out there and show them. One last note before I go. While the holidays are a great time to celebrate and radiate positivity, it's okay to be vulnerable too. The other day I had a check-in call with a client, and when we first got on the call, she asked me, "How are you?" Like humans usually do when you greet each other. And my answer was, "I'm kind of grumpy, but I was excited for this call because I knew you would cheer me up." Seriously, I love my clients and get so much joy working with them. And her response was, "Thank you for being honest because I've been pretty grumpy the last 2 weeks too." I've said it before and I'll say it again. People just want to be seen and heard. They want to relate to others. So when in doubt, just connect with them in a human way. Now go forth and start creating some kick-ass content to get your audience excited about what's to come for holiday. Remember, it's about them and what they need, not you and your business. And that's a wrap for today, friend. See you on the flip side. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you like what you heard, I'd be so grateful if you'd leave a review on Apple Podcasts, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you're looking to surround yourself with more product entrepreneurs who totally get your life right now, get your booty on over to the eCommerce Badassery Facebook group. Can't wait to see you there. Until next time, e-commerce friends, stay badass.